Welcome back to the Deep Dive. If you feel like you're constantly starting new projects or maybe picking up new hobbies, but you never actually finish or get great at any of them, then today's Deep Dive is definitely for you.
It's a common feeling, for sure.
Totally. We are plunging into a concept the source material calls mastery, and it's a pretty uncompromising argument that true success requires dedicating yourself to mastering just one core thing.
And it's an intentionally confronting framework we're looking at. The material we're drawing from is from a creator who's really focused on excellence, discipline, defeating mediocrity.
Right.
And they are not interested in just making you feel good about your hustle. This is a highly tactical blueprint for total focused commitment.
So our mission today is to extract that system. We want to grab the explicit steps outlined in this material to help you escape that incredibly frustrating modern trap of being almost good at everything.
But great at nothing.
Exactly. Great at absolutely nothing.
And we have to start with the source's core idea because it frames the problem immediately. This creator claims the reason most talented people fail isn't a lack of capacity or, intelligence.
Okay.
It's because they are, and this is a quote, distracted, scattered, and unfocused. That lack of focus is the real bottleneck.
That hits hard because it challenges the whole narrative that you just need to work harder. It suggests we're working on the wrong things, or maybe just in the wrong way. Okay, so let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Why is the modern world so sort of dangerous to this pursuit of mastery?
It's what you could call an availability crisis. We live in a world that is just overflowing with options. Instant learning is a click away. There are infinite streams of content.
Constant noise.
Constant noise and distraction competing for every single sliver of your attention. The source says this environment is basically designed to reward novelty over depth.
And the consequence of that, which I think everyone listening can recognize, is that you can try anything instantly. You can switch your identity every month.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm a coder this month, an organic gardener the next, and a day trader the month after.
Precisely. And because that entry barrier is so low, people never stick with anything long enough for those skills to transition into what the source emphatically calls power.
So they're smart, they're talented?
They are, but their focus is undisciplined. They just constantly chase the excitement of starting something new.
The source identifies a specific destructive cycle of failure here, a real loop. It starts with this massive excitement and motivation.
Which then leads to burnout, right? As soon as the work gets hard and a little bit dull.
Yes, and then the guilt over quitting kicks in, which prompts this desire for a clean slate, and you just restart somewhere else.
Yeah.
The whole sequence just repeats itself.
Yeah, they label this process loops, not a career path. And the most dangerous part of this cycle, they stress, is that the people caught in it confuse movement with achievement.
Oh, that's good.
They feel busy because they're always starting new things or attending webinars, buying new equipment. But they're not actually achieving any kind of mastery or depth. They're just spinning their wheels.
That makes the whole jack-of-all-trades idea so critical to talk about.
Yeah.
We're sort of taught that being versatile is a huge advantage, but this source seems to push back on that hard.
It does.
What does the material say are the genuine benefits before it, presents the fatal trade-off?
The source is actually surprisingly fair about the benefits. I mean, if you're a generalist, you are adaptable. You're a fast learner.
Sure. Resourceful.
Resourceful, exactly. You can understand a lot of different areas, which lets you connect ideas across fields that other people might miss. That's genuinely useful.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
So why is that a problem? Why does the source insist that being great at one thing is so much better than being good at many?
Because here's where it gets really interesting. The source points to what it calls the fatal downside. All those upsides come at the expense of one single component, depth. And depth, they argue, is the only currency that truly matters at the highest levels.
Wait, isn't that a little extreme, though? I mean, are we saying someone who has mastered, say, negotiation and programming is doomed?
Well, the source would say that's a false choice, probably driven by a fear of commitment. You can certainly dabble in negotiation while you master programming, but only one of those is going to become the engine of your success.
And depth is what creates scarcity.
That's it. If you have 10 competent skills, you're replaceable. If you have one undeniable specialized mastery, you become indispensable.
That shift from just being competent to being indispensable.
Ah,
That's what pays, isn't it?
absolutely. The source makes a really strong case for it. Depth pays. It builds serious wealth because you're solving high-value problems that very few other people can tackle.
And it's not just about money.
No, not at all. Beyond money, depth creates legitimate influence, unwavering confidence, a solid identity. You're not guessing who you are. You know you are a master of X.
So the core principle is, you can dabble in a lot of things, but you can only dominate in one. Mastery is just the art of narrowing your focus until your skill is undeniable.
It means staying with something long enough for it to really reward you, seeing the details others miss in the first few months. You establish that central pillar of excellence first.
And only then can you afford to add other things.
Exactly. Once that pillar is paying dividends, then you can go dabble.
Okay, before we dive into the system itself, the material points out 3 specific domains that it claims almost everyone struggles with. These are like universal stumbling blocks.
Yes, the 3 foundational pillars. First is knowledge, and we mean learning deeply, the kind that actually sticks, not just superficial reading.
Right.
Second, money, not just earning it, but the whole system of earning, managing, and multiplying it. And third, what the source calls fleshly desires.
So discipline, self-control, temptation.
All of it, mastering those impulses.
So if you can master those 3 things, your focus, your finances, and your self-control, the source suggests you basically become unstoppable. But that begs the question, how? How do you get there?
That's the transition point. The material insists that willpower is finite, systems are not.
So you need a system, not just motivation.
You need a systematic approach. So let's get into the how-to part. The 10 proven steps, which we can group into a few clusters to make it clearer.
Okay, let's start with the first set. Cluster 1, focus and commitment.
Step 1 is non-negotiable, and it's usually the hardest. Choose one core focus. You have to identify the one pursuit that, if you mastered it, would lift every other area of your life.
And this isn't a hobby.
No, this is the thing you protect fiercely and organize your life around. The difficulty is in saying no to all the other good choices to focus on the single best choice.
And once you've chosen that, step 2 is create a daily practice. This is the consistency rule. Mastery isn't built in one intense 48-hour grind.
No, it's built in small, measurable, daily actions. You do something toward your craft or your money discipline or your self-control every single day. A master is defined by what they do on their average days.
And step 3 is the shortcut. Study the guest, find mentors, read the best books. You don't reinvent the wheel.
Right. You accelerate by building on top of the patterns that already made others great.
All right, moving to cluster 2. Measurement and resistance. This is where the grind starts. Step 4 is track everything.
The source has a great line here. What you don't measure, you don't master. You need quantifiable data on your habits, your money, your time.
Otherwise, you're just relying on feeling.
And feelings are misleading. Then step 5 directly addresses that modern crisis we talked about. Fight distraction like an enemy.
So this is more than just check my phone less.
Oh, way more. The source treats distraction like a saboteur that is actively stealing your potential. So your response has to be aggressive. Silence notifications, limit social media, set non-negotiable time blocks for focus.
I like that intensity. Distraction isn't a minor annoyance, it's a real threat. And step 6 is all about delayed gratification.
Which is the core muscle, really.
Mastery demands you say no, way more than you say yes. Especially to short-term comfort or pleasure. You have to defer that satisfaction for a much bigger long-term reward.
Yep. If you can't do that, you're just restarting that loop we talked about earlier, over and over again.
Our final cluster is cluster 3, mindset and system. This is about long-term sustainability. Step 7 is a tough one. Embrace boredom.
It's so counterintuitive, but it's such a necessary truth. Excitement fades. A master isn't driven by that initial dopamine hit.
They're driven by commitment to the process.
Exactly. If you can stay consistent when the work becomes dull and repetitive, you're proving your commitment. Boredom is the proving ground.
Step 8 is about speed and recovery. Fail fast and correct quickly.
Basically, treat mistakes as data. Failure, the source says, is just the tuition fee for mastery. Don't fear it, analyze it, learn from it, and adjust your daily practice immediately.
And step 9 brings us back to willpower. Build a system, not willpower. Your environment and your routines have to carry you on the days your motivation is 0.
You want mastery to be the default setting, not the optional one.
And finally, the ultimate change, step 10, which is a big philosophical shift. Master your identity.
This is the profound point. You stop focusing on what you do and start focusing on who you are. You have to adopt the identity. I am someone who finishes what I start.
Wow.
The Source makes this really powerful statement. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your identity. When your identity shifts, your actions just naturally align with that new belief.
So we have the system. Let's apply this to those 3 domains we mentioned because the source gives some concrete pathways for each. How does this system work for, say, mastering knowledge?
For mastering knowledge, it's all about deep learning. The path has 5 parts. First, read daily. That's the input. Second, write what you learn. That's processing.
Right, synthesis.
Third, teach it to someone else, which proves you really get it. Fourth, practice it in real-life application. And fifth, review and refine what you've learned.
That process is powerful because it defeats that superficiality we talked about. It's repetition to reflection to application, which leads to mastery.
Precisely. No more reading books just to feel smart. You're reading to transform your behavior. Next up is mastering money.
And the source is clear here. This is about consistency, not chasing quick schemes.
Right. The core habits are simple, but they require relentless execution. They connect directly back to all those self-control steps.
So we're talking about earning a skill-based income, which connects back to mastering that one core skill, then tracking every dollar.
Every single dollar. Living on less than you make and investing consistently. The key is avoiding emotional decisions with your money.
This is where that delayed gratification muscle gets tested the most, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Consumer culture is screaming for immediate pleasure, which is the exact opposite of what's needed for mastery.
And finally, what the source calls the hardest one, mastering the flesh. This is where comfort and laziness try to pull you off track.
The tactics here have to be aggressive because, as the source says, the flesh is loud. So it involves practicing discipline daily in small ways, like making your bed.
Okay.
It also recommends actively fasting from things that control you. If you can't put your phone down, fast from it for 48 hours. Prove your mind is in charge, not the habit.
That active removal of the temptation,
Yeah.
that's key. It makes the system easier than just using sheer willpower.
And, crucially, surrounding yourself with disciplined people. Your peer environment shapes your identity. You need allies who are also operating on systems, not just motivation.
The source asserts that while the flesh is loud,
It is absolutely not stronger than a focused, systematic mind.
that brings us right back to the core message that launched this whole deep dive. If you want an extraordinary life, you cannot afford to be merely good at everything. You have to commit to being great at something.
It requires deep dedication. It requires the bravery to say no to most things, and it requires sustained, often boring, focus. It sounds like a lonely path.
It does. But the source offers a pretty motivating conclusion for anyone feeling isolated on this journey. It acknowledges that social implication.
It does. It reminds us of a crucial truth,
Mastery is lonely at first.
but crowded at the top. And that distinction is everything. The effort is solitary, but the rewards and the network at the highest level, where true mastery resides, that is rich, abundant, and worth the focused isolation.
So we encourage you to take this outline, look at those 10 steps, and really consider the prompt that started this quest. What one thing are you choosing to master this year? That decision is the first required step.